Greetings, friends. Today, we are talking about exercise and fitness, and I am your faculty. My name is Adrian Kennedy. Our subject, exercise and fitness in its total spectrum. What will we be talking about today? We will be talking about the benefits of exercise, the various components of exercise. How does one get fit? How does one test and evaluate whether we are fit? What is ergonomics? How does it relate to the human structure? And should we exercise in order to rehabilitate ourselves after medical intervention and surgery? These are some of the topics that we will touch upon. But first, the benefits. Of all the subjects that I frequently talk about, and this includes stress and nutrition and smoking and other such health-related topics, exercise is probably the most important. Nothing can be more important than each other, but exercise has profound benefits. I frequently like to say that exercise is a single pill for all ailments. If you have diabetes, you have a specific type of pill. If you have hypertension, you have a different pill. But as far as exercise is concerned, it is good for diabetes and hypertension and almost every other ailment. So what are the benefits of exercise? First of all, it strengthens your muscles, reduces muscular debility. It strengthens the bones and therefore reduces osteoporosis and arthritis. It keeps the joints fluid. It utilizes the stress hormone. It reduces stress. It reduces anxiety and depression. It reduces the entire spectrum of psychosomatic ailments. And those could be headaches, insomnia, hypertension, diabetes, and so on and so forth. Exercise reduces obesity. It utilizes the calories that you consume from food. Exercise improves the respiration, improves your lung capacity. It purifies your blood. Exercise reduces your heart rate of a fit human being. It reduces cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problems. It improves the quality of life as you get older. And significantly, it also improves your lifespan. Now, if these are the profound benefits of exercise, then what are the components of an exercise program? First of all, we are talking about exercise activity. In other words, you must have physical movement. And what are the components of an exercise program besides the activity? Stamina, the cardiovascular, respiratory stamina, strength for your muscles, flexibility for your joints, and it improves your coordination. It gives you skills to play games such as football, hockey, cricket, and so on and so forth. So these are the components of an exercise program. Now let us consider each of these. There are two types of activity when it comes to exercise. One is the programmed activity. You go to a gym, you do a 1-hour yoga session, or you do calisthenics, or you do any of the exercise programs that you would like to do. That is an exercise program, usually a 1 or 1.5 hour program. And then there is lifestyle activity. simple physical functional movements. The fact that you walk, the fact that you climb the stairs, the fact that you carry your groceries, all of these add up to the exercise benefits. And those are referred to as using your daily lifestyle to improve your fitness. Now, what are the components of exercise besides activity? You have stamina. Now, in stamina, there are two components, aerobic and anaerobic. We've heard so much about the aerobic activities. Aerobic activities are those activities that increase your heart rate, that continue over a period of time, that improve your respiration. For example, you breathe while walking, or you breathe while jogging, or while cycling and swimming. And all of this increases the heart rate and improves your circulation. That is aerobic exercises. Exercises that require you to breathe more. And then you have the anaerobic exercises. Anaerobic exercises are those exercises that require a burst of activity. For example, you could do weightlifting, you could do sprinting, you could do any of these things. But that being the case, if the heart rate is going to increase, what is a safe heart rate? Generally speaking, I would like to say that a safe heart rate is a heart rate in which you are comfortable, in which you can talk during exercise, commonly known as the talk test. If you cannot talk during exercise, it means you are breathless, and if you are breathless, the intensity of the exercise is too high. But on your screen, you will see that there is a formula, and that formula is 220, which is a maximum heart rate for any human being, minus your age, minus 30. So in my case, 220 minus 70 would give me a number, minus 30, and that is my maximum heart rate. Minus another 30 would give me my training heart zone. So my heart zone must be 220 minus 70, that would be 150, minus 30, that would be 120, is the maximum that my heart should beat during exercise, or that my heart normally can beat during exercise. 2 minus 30 is 90. So 90 to 30 is a good heart rate for me to exercise. And of course, in order to catch my breath at the end of every exercise program, deep breathing. Now, take the case of a young individual at the age of 20. 220 minus 20 is 200, minus 30 is 170, minus 30 is 140, which means that a young individual's heart rate will comfortably beat between 140 and 170 during exercise. Exercises such as jogging and fast swimming will reach those heart rates. But more moderate exercises such as walking will reach a heart rate of about 120 or 110. So exercises are compatible to different ages according to your heart capacity. One component of exercise is stamina, and the second component of exercise is strength. And you can see a lady carrying a lovely child and doing some form of functional activity. So, in order to improve your muscular strength, there are two types of strength building exercise. One is the free hand exercises, as you can see, and the other is the gym exercises. In order to comfortably complete these exercises, you divide the entire body's 200 plus muscles into different groups, and you have the arms and shoulder group, the chest group, the abdomen and the leg group, and then you do exercises specific to those groups. For example, free hand exercises, you have over here, as you can see on your screen, the push-up, the back lift, the sit-up, the calf raise, and there should be a squat here somewhere. All these exercises are exercises in which you use your own body weight to strengthen a muscle. 10 repetitions of any movement is good. And then you have the second form of exercise, and that is utilizing an additional weight to increase your muscular strength. The benefit of weight training is that you will achieve a higher strength capacity in a shorter period of time. And that is what gym exercises and weight training is all about. You have over here a shoulder press and a bench press, a curl for the bicep, calf raises, a half squat, and so on and so forth. So in strength exercises, there are two types: the free hand strength exercise and the gym training exercise. You saw the barbell in the previous sheet, and in this one, you see the use of lighter weights. Lighter weights, such as the dumbbell, will obviously mean more repetitions. So in a barbell, you would use, say, 8 repetitions because the weight is heavier. In a dumbbell, you would use 16 repetitions because the dumbbell is lighter. They have different effects. One is for strength and the other, such as the dumbbell, is for muscular endurance. There are different types of exercise systems, which I will not go into on this presentation. It is important that you connect with your gym trainer, your personal trainer, and they will put you through various exercise systems, a conventional system or a circuit system, and so on and so forth. But the standard formula for weight training is, if you were to use a dumbbell or barbell, remember, for upper body exercises, half your body weight. So if my body weight is 80 kgs, I would use the weight at about 40 kgs. And then I would do about 6 to 8 repetitions of a curl or a shoulder press and so on for the upper body, and for the lower body, double that amount at about 15 with 1, 2, or 3 sets depending upon your age. But this is just information for you. What you really need to do is connect with your gym trainer, and they will give you a far more precise program. So you have stamina, which is walking, jogging, cycling, and swimming. And then you have the gym or the strength training, which comes through your gym. And now you have flexibility or mobility exercises. Again, there are two types. One type is standard mobility exercises, and the second is yoga. So over here, you look at every joint in the body and then try and improve the mobility of those joints. You have the neck joint, the shoulder joint, the elbows, the wrist and fingers, the waist, the knees, the ankle, the foot, and so on. Here are the various exercises: the neck rotation, the waist rotation, elbow bends, shoulders rotation, toe touch, waist rotation, and other exercises for the lower limb. 10 repetitions of these exercises will be sufficient, and these exercises can be done anywhere, including at home. Now, yoga is a slightly different story. You require a trainer to teach you yoga. You achieve flexibility without a doubt, but you require a trainer to show you how to do these unique movements. Many of these movements are similar to the Western form of exercise, but they are also different in many ways. The Ardha Halasana, as you can see it, is simply the leg raise. And of course, you have other exercises over there. Now, the difference between yoga and standard calisthenic exercises is the internal effect. The Ardha Halasana, or the leg raise, in yoga doesn't only strengthen the abdomen, but it also benefits the reproductive system within the human body. And therefore, the other yoga programs, the shoulder stand, for example, or the Sarvangasana, is beneficial in yoga for the brain, the nervous system, the thyroid, and the circulatory system. Now, these benefits are similar in the shoulder stand, or they are similar in the leg raise, except that the emphasis on Western exercise is more external, the joints and the muscles, and the emphasis on yoga is more internal, relating to the various body systems. Here are more yogasanas. A very important part of yoga are the last two, the breathing exercise and the relaxation techniques. While in Western exercises, we may do 6, 8 repetitions for the upper body and about 15 repetitions or 12 repetitions for the lower body. In yoga, we do about 1 or 2 repetitions. In yoga, you have complete relaxation between each exercise. So between the Matsyasana and the Naukasana, you will have a period of relaxation or Shavasana. But in the Western exercise mode, you run through your exercise program and rest usually at the end. So now, we have spoken about stamina, strength, and flexibility. We now talk about how these benefit skills, how these are relevant in various activities such as sport. There are different types of sport. You have the Olympic sports and the non-Olympic sports. The Olympic sports are popular and done in all countries, such as a football perhaps, or track and field perhaps. And then you have the non-Olympic sports, which are peculiar to certain countries. For example, you have Taekwondo or you have Karate, which is peculiar to the Oriental countries and therefore may not be relevant in all Olympic Games, but in the Olympic game conducted in the Orient, it will certainly be a part. And then you have recreational games and competitive games. As you can see, Usain Bolt running the 100 meters over there. This is a competitive championship. But you also have recreational games in which you and I might participate in a game of tennis or badminton or handball or volleyball or any of these games. Recreational games are played for fitness, and competitive games are professional games which declare winners. In recreational games, the participation is winning. So what is fitness? What do we mean by being fit? The word fitness would expand to frequency, intensity, and time. The frequency, in spite of what you read over here, simply put means exercising at least 5 to 6 days a week with perhaps 1 day of rest. So frequency is 6 days a week with 1 day of rest. Intensity is the number of repetitions in which you do an exercise or the load you carry. I would simply say moderate instead of intense. Moderate means something that you can do several repetitions of, maybe 10 repetitions is moderate. And then there is time. I believe that the maximum time for recreational exercise would be about 30 to 60 minutes, about 5 to 6 days a week. But if you're going in for competition, you would look at about 90 minutes of exercise and you would look at 2 times a day. So it would be different. And then we're talking in terms of type. You can play football and be fit. You can play cricket and be fit. But the more important thing is to do exercise to be fit and then play your games. Playing games on a weekend to become fit is a dangerous activity. How do you know you're fit? You know you're fit, or the world will know that you're fit if you're able to participate in any of these tests. You have the American Association fitness program for children, in which they look at body fat, or flexibility is the sit and reach test. Strength, you have the pull-up test. Explosive strength, you have the long jump test. And of course, the sprint and the 9-minute run. And for adults, you have the Duke of Edinburgh fitness tests. They will take the height-weight ratios. You've got to do a few push-ups and sit-ups according to your age. Can you touch your toes? How much of time do you take to run 100 meters? Can you continuously run and complete about 2,000 meters in 12 minutes? I've given you a general program. There is more specificity to this. But simply put, there are tests that evaluate and certify your fitness. You never start exercise without referring to your doctor, especially if you're above the age of 35 and are not frequently exercising. Always meet your doctor, take his approval. You could be having underlying hypertension, which you are not aware of. Meet your doctor, number one. Number two, start gradually so that you reach your capacity in about 6 weeks. Start with 5 minutes and end up at the end of a month with about 30 to 60 minutes. Exercise in moderation so that you are comfortable and able to talk during exercise. Don't forget, your trainer will give you a warm-up and a cool-down. A warm-up is to do a little bit of jogging or walking and stretching prior to an exercise program so that your heart rate and blood circulation is equivalent to the requirement necessary when you exercise. A cool-down is when you bring your heart rate back to normal by simply walking and deep breathing till your heart rate drops from 120 or 140 back to about 90 or 80 heartbeats for the second, for the minute. And of course, never exercise in extreme weathers. If it is extremely hot, you'll be dehydrated. If it is extremely cold, you will suffer hypothermia. Both these can be fatal. So these are your safety suggestions. Of course, there are specific safety suggestions in different types of exercise. In stamina, avoid hard impact. Maintain your training heart zone. In strength, be careful about the instruments that you use. You do not want the machines to fall or the dumbbell or the barbell to fall. This will injure you. In flexibility, be sure to do your training under an expert. You want to stretch gently. You do not want to have dynamic stretches which could tear your muscle. These are certain exercises you need to avoid. We will talk about these on another occasion. Sports injuries. You can notice on the word there is RIC on the side. There is meant to be an E over there also, but it's covered by my picture. I apologize for that. RICE is rest. RICE is used when you have an injury. Rest, compression, elevation. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. So, if you have muscle soreness or a muscle cramp or a pulled muscle or a sprain or pain per se, and you are out there on the field exercising, the best you can do along with your colleagues is, first of all, decide that you will take a few days or a week or two of rest. Put ice on the injury in an ice bag, never place ice directly. You can wear a crepe bandage, and at night when you sleep, elevate the leg. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Most importantly, consult your trainer, consult your doctor. If the injury is more serious, and it could be, they would then need to use professional medical methods to repair the tissue that is injured. But by and large, what we would like to say is that a sports injury is a healthy injury. You've heard me say often that you should exercise in moderation versus intensity. Simply put, when you exercise intensely, it is for competition. When you exercise in moderation, it is for enjoyment. And when you exercise in moderation, it improves the health. It's easy to do. It reduces body fat. It stimulates your immune system. It improves your age. It reduces your aging, which means that it maintains your health. In competition, it is hard to do. It increases hunger. It increases your appetite. It weakens the immune system. It increases stress and anxiety, and it accelerates aging. If you are a professional, you will do intense activities, but it is of a short-lived duration of 5 or 7 or 10 years during your youth. For the rest of your life, you may exercise in moderation, which is far better for your health. We've heard of ergonomics. What is human ergonomics? Human ergonomics is the use of exercise and posture to keep the body healthy. So you have the same formula of stamina, strength, and flexibility. You use good posture while standing, sitting, lifting, and sleeping. And then you have different forms of activity. Now over here, you talk in terms of eye exercise. This is the ancient yogic system, or in 1930s, it was made famous by the great eye specialist Bates. It simply means moving your eye from side to side or up and down at different angles. Maybe 2 or 3 repetitions of side to side movement or up and down movement. Maybe 3 or 4 of these such repetitions in a day. It will strengthen the eye muscle. It will improve the lubrication in the eye. It will improve the circulation in the eye muscles, and by and large, it will be good for you. Now this is posture. How do you stand? Always use your knees to bend. When carrying, carry the load above with both hands, or if it's a single hand, below the waist. How do you sit? Be sure to sit with the spine straight. How do you lie? Be sure that your spine is in touch with the surface on which you are lying. Have a look at these postures. They are easily doable. Just keep in mind appropriate spine alignment during posture, whether you are standing or bending or lifting or sitting or even lying down. Now, exercise is not only for the fit and healthy. Exercise can also be for the old and the infirm and those who were unwell. We've heard of cardiac rehabilitation, so important after a heart attack. When you happen to have a stroke, it is essential to do exercise in order to regain your movement. As you get older, it is important to do exercise as a geriatric in order to strengthen your muscles. You need to do exercise when you're pregnant in order to have an easy delivery. You need to exercise. You need to do exercise to lose weight. And children need to exercise. The biggest killer in the world today, which will probably takes 60 to 80% of the world's population in terms of mortality, is the heart attack. And when you exercise, it strengthens the heart, reduces blood pressure, utilizes sugar, and therefore reduces cholesterol, reduces blood sugar, it reduces cholesterol, it reduces your weight, it utilizes stress. If you're exercising, you invariably give up the bad habits. Extra oxygenation reduces your need to smoke. Exercise can reverse your genetics, epigenetics. It can reverse your genetics. You're born with cardiac risk. You can reduce that risk by being an exerciser. So exercising is perhaps the best pill that you can take, not only against a heart attack, but against most illnesses. I frequently need to talk to executives and students, and therefore I bring in this little slide which talks about brain health. One would wonder, what is the relationship between exercises and the brain? What does the brain do? The brain is important for intelligence, it is important for sight and hearing, it is important for the emotions that you have and your memory. It is important for the hormones that balance the body. It is important to regulate your heart rate and your respiration and to coordinate your movements. Everything is managed by the brain. The brain is the super executive that sits in your head and manages your entire body systems. What are the challenges to brain function? The challenges to brain function that reduce the health of your brain is inappropriate nutrition, which has high levels of chemicals such as fast foods, high levels of stress, lack of sleep will give your brain more time to recover. Lack of exercise will reduce the blood circulation to the brain. Stimulants, narcotics will impact the brain negatively. And of course, there is direct trauma. So, what is the solution to help your brain to function optimally? Surprisingly and delightfully, exercise is so important. When you exercise, your oxygen function improves, your blood is purified, your circulation of blood increases, and all this makes the brain so healthy. And you add to that fruits and vegetables, good nutrition, add to that rest, relaxation, and sleep to relax the brain, add to that sufficient water to keep the brain hydrated and the body hydrated and the blood fluid. Avoid stimulants, drugs, alcohol, smoking. Keep your mind sharp by reading, by debating, by talking, by playing chess and other such games. And most important, maintain your social contacts, meet friends. But if you want to keep your brain healthy, do not forget your exercise. Friends, it has been my pleasure to talk to you on a subject that is very dear to me, and that is exercise. As I mentioned earlier, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I am, as I mentioned, Professor Kennedy, and I am available on this email in case you need to contact me. I will be happy to respond to you. Thank you so much.